In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Just adjusting myself here. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream. And you can see from the sonometer, which is the actually a production mistake on the right of the screen there, that's sunshine. Where am I pointing? That the windows over there. That's a little bit of that brilliance on the screen is not me. I probably don't need to point that out. That brilliance on the screen is the goodness of the sunshine shining on the green screen. And I'm just going to leave it there here on Feelgood Friday. Of course, Jenni B joining us from 9 o'clock with hashtag PBWM. Peace begins with me. Okay. I think if you want to know what's going on in the so-called reality in the world, there are plenty of places to find out about that. We'll talk a little bit about worldly matters here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream this morning, but you know how it is when Jenni B gets here. We'll go transcendental and we'll go to the big picture, the holistic vision of the world, and talk about things from there. So if you're feeling a little bit discombobulated by world events, you might want to stick around. Or you might think to yourself, oh dear, Munson and Jenni B are going to get all hippie again. I'm going to go and read the Daily Mail instead. Or whatever your national equivalent. What's the national... No, actually, I was going to ask you, what's the national equivalent of the Daily Mail in the United States? That's going to cause an unholy situation. If people will start falling out about that, believe me, and we'll have some of this. So the only thing we're hoping to trigger this morning as the show unfolds after a busy week, let's face it, we always have a busy week here, don't we? Live streaming every morning between 8:30 and 10. Allegedly, it's not enough for some people, and it's the fastest 90 minutes of the day. It's been busy, so we can unwind, we can resolve a few things, we can show a few pictures that we forgot to show. We'll look at the currency rates because that's what is sent in by the wonderful folks at Spartan. We'll see what's happening on that worldly level, as I say, and then we'll drift into transcendence thereafter as we make our way to 10 o'clock. And hopefully, we're not going to be burying our heads in the sand. We're going to be the most powerful, light workers and peace people that will have such an amazing effect in the world. Because I'm thinking, if you want peace in the world, it might be useful to be peaceful. And, far be it from me to say that's going to happen here. You know what us humans are like. But me and Jenni will do our utmost best, as I know any of you who know us I think we'll agree that will at least be our endeavor and our intention this morning, that peace begins with us in a world that you arguably needs it right now. And, let's face it, it wasn't just in these last few weeks that the world needed peace. It's been long overdue, has it not? Didn't someone write a song about it in the 1960s, giving peas a chance or something like that? Blimmin' vegans. Okay, we have pictures of dogs, pictures of fat bikes, pictures of swimming pools with laundry over them. Isn't that fantastic? Wasn't Wiley a sport yesterday? What a gal. So we had a Cascais sandwich. Here's a picture from Cascais for you. Not usually seen quite like that. And that postcard, I'm hoping, will be available in the Expats Portugal merchandise area of the website. So yeah, Cascais sandwich yesterday. We started the day with Wiley. And us Good Morning Portugal gumpers with high rolling it, looking at perusing 6.5 million euro properties. Why not? I believe in miracles. I feel a song coming on. Why not? Why not have a little wander around Cascais in the morning, look at beautiful property? And I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder. As some of you were quite eggy and grumpy yesterday morning. I hope you had a good look at yourselves after the show. Was that really necessary? What? Happy yogurt pots, Batman. Oh, no, hippie yogurt pots, Batman. How much of this can you take, Prof? Don't go yet, though, until we've heard some today in Portuguese history. We know we only want you for your facts. Erotic novel entries. You only wanted him for his facts. Where is James when you need him? So we started in Cascais in the morning. Do you know what? I'm having this correspondence with a Mr. Smith in the United States, who I might be quite surprised to hear this when he listens to the show later on today, who has this conversation with his children, and they're like watching over his shoulder at what dad is looking at on the screen. And it's like, can this guy even keep on track? What's happening here? And I've been accused of digressing. I can't believe it. Anyway, Cascais sandwiches, dogs, fat bikes, and currency news today. Not necessarily in that order, of course. Cascais sandwich, yes, back to that. Cascais in the morning, Cascais in the evening. Why, Carl, you ask? Well, in the evening on our webinar. That's why Friday is always a nice, relaxing morning for me, because Thursday is the hump day and peak of the week, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of how much on-screen time we have together. If you're at all of those gigs, and Anna Vieira. The wonderful Anna Vieira, a long-standing advocate of Cascais, Portuguese, a member of our Ask Our Expats team. A little bit of an exception in there, but she is in our Ask Our Expats team. And she gave a brilliant presentation on pets in Portugal last night. And that is why I made up this slide last night of Jimmy Choo and Peggy Poo. And that's them on holiday. Those do look like white ceramic tiles, not unlike an abattoir behind there. But it's just an unfortunate cropping of that shot. Do you remember when we all went on holiday to Cascais and to Martigny? That's the dogs in Cascais, imagining themselves in a 6.5 mil dream home over that way. And that is not an electric collar. It does look like one, doesn't it? It's just a big plastic buckle on Jimmy's throat there, around his neck. And that's when we were at Martignal. And I made that up because last night Anna gave this beautiful presentation, really informative, really interesting, really useful for people moving to Portugal with pets. Okay, so that will be on the YouTube channel soon. We don't usually record the Ask Our Expats session because it's quite chatty. But it was very specific last night on pets in Portugal, and I will at least add the pets in Portugal content part, the presentation. The pets, watch out for this microphone, the pets in Portugal presentation that was delivered to us by Anna last night. So that was the Cascais sandwich last night. Oh, and I've got some, I'm thinking, okay, so what else did I do yesterday? 9 o'clock, of course, is the Premium Plus group Q&A troubleshooting session. Those folks on the accelerator program, you've decided you want to move to Portugal and you want some handheld help. We do that on our Premium Plus program, which you can sign up for on our homepage. And I got the most wonderful message from Debbie, who has used the program, has ridden the program, the wild water of the Premium Plus program to get here to the north of Portugal. And you may have seen Debbie and John. Debbie put up the most brilliant post last night. She's diarising the early days of their arrival stay here in Portugal. My goodness, you can turn your back on Facebook for 1 minute and you can end up with quite a lot of notifications, can't you? So I'm trying to find something now. So lovely posts most days, most mornings from Debbie. Oh, I found it now. And I said, I've just put up an innocent comment saying, oh, it's great. You seem to be settling in well. The ups and downs of life in Portugal, getting utilities connected, going and looking at the Atlantic, having obviously the cafe in Nata experience as well. Sounds like you're adjusting very well, I say to Debbie. And she says, I feel positively Crocodile Dundee as I shout bon dia to everyone I passed whilst doing my C25K in the morning. Now, the only bit I don't understand there, and John weighs in with just navigating by the stars in the best Portuguese tradition, Cole Munson. Yes, metaphorically meant there, and enjoying the view, navigating by the stars. I understand Crocodile Dundee, and I understand shouting out bon dia. I do that, a verbal assault, a lot of mornings. In fact, I did it just now when I was out with the dogs. Shouted out a bon fin de semana to one of my neighbours, and I'm wondering if she's thinking that Englishman is very noisy and shouting out something that I don't quite understand. I hope she got it, bon fin de semana. I think she did shout back an igualmente and, calma, tranquilo. This is a peaceful neighborhood. We don't need mad dogs and Englishmen out shouting bon fin de semana first thing in the morning. But Where was I? Yes, that was the relish on top of the Cascais sandwich. Debbie and John are now in the north of Portugal. Some of those pioneers exploring and delighting in the north of Portugal. So all the best to you, Debbie and John, and good luck with connecting your water supply. Talking of water, lots of rain yesterday, isn't it? Isn't it great? We had lots of rain yesterday, the much needed rain. And that gives me reason, after we've said a few greetings this morning, to tell you about the English Tea Party that's happening in the Algarve to support the Bomberos show. I believe down there, understandably, and probably in the Alentejo and in Central, are very concerned about the lack of rain that we've had and how dry the conditions are and how difficult that makes their job and their concerns. Come back to that a little bit later on. Yes, currency update, fat bikes, and an English Tea Party. How about that? So Matty is here. Hola, bom dia, obrigado. Todos de Amsterdam, boa sexta-feira. Sexta-feira, everybody. You know what that means. E bom fim de semana para todos. Now, look at that. Look at that. A few months ago, that wouldn't have been quite, I don't think that would have been as technically correct or so deftly delivered. That's beautiful, Matty. That's how we roll here. And Andy's here as well. Portuguese, bom dia. Lisboa, ensolarada. Sunny Lisbon then this morning. Mais fresca, so a little bit chilly down there in the capital, or over there in the capital. E ótimo estar de volta em casa. Great to be home. So, yeah, good for you. And some sort of Russian greeting as well this morning. OLP's in. Bom dia, bem-vindo. I'll give over our apocalypse. It's going to be fine, okay? It's going to be fine. Stick around, and we'll face it. We won't shy away from this that you speak of, but we will resource ourselves, I think, in the most powerful way. It's not your yangy alpha male sort of way. Come on, then let's have a scrap about this and see who left sanding, blood, and bodies everywhere. Have we not learned anything that might not be the way ahead here? So stick around. Hi, Andy. You're here. Yes, he's up and early this morning. Glad to be back, isn't he? On Terra Portuguesa. Andrew, congrats on being back in Lisboa. Man cave tonight at usual time. Look at them freely plugging. No, not so much as, do you mind if we advertise our little not webinar? It's not a webinar. It's a gathering. It looks like it looks like a bar. It looks like a bloke's bar, and they're sitting there just like, want a beer? Yeah, I'll have a beer. What do you think about what's going on in Russia then? It's like that. But it's very good. It's very good. But they don't say, do you mind if you advertise? Oh, Man Cave tonight. Just co-opt my show, why don't you? With a bit of advertising for your Man Cave. You did not tell me late start last week. Oh, he's not over it. He is not over the late start last week. Now, dare I say that's because Matty is from Germany. And punctuality is quite important in Germany, is it not? I think Matty not happy about that. And if you want any help from Jenni B to overcome that possible rift and conflict in the Man Cave so that you don't have a virtual brawl tonight, you know where we are. T-Duck is here with some Stephen Wright and some George Carlin. Of course, the storm drain of the Good Morning Portugal show. If you do want to just let off steam in a worldly way about what's going on in the world, join us at 10:45 this morning, a little bit later than normal. Normally 10:30, 10:45 tonight. T-Duck and myself, the Bubble Off Centre podcast, Stephen Wright quote of the day. Everywhere is within walking distance if you have the time. Well said, Stephen Wright. How does he think of this stuff? George Carlin quote of the day. If you can't beat them, arrange to have them beaten. George, that is not what we're looking for right now. Bon dia, Gumpers. Sorry I missed last night's Zoom meeting. It'll be the presentation will be available to you, Gary. Thursday has become my longest day, and I had to cover a COVID-tested teacher. Not literally, I hope. But yes, all the best to that COVID-tested teacher. A positive result, not necessarily ill anymore, of course, we should point out. And Baldylocks is here. So all the best, Gary. Sorry to hear about that, but you will get to see that presentation. California, Baldylocks. Good morning, Gumpers. Hey, how are you? And today in Portuguese history, 1934. Sorry, let me do that again. Today in Portuguese history, 1394. Can you edit that later on? Thank you. 1394, for heaven's sakes. And peace begins with me. Infant Don Henrique, or Prince Henry the Navigator. Now that is I don't suppose he was born that, was he? Prince Henry the Navigator, we might find out, is born, or today his 628th birthday. Parabéns a você. Should we sing all three verses to the Henry the Navigator? No, I don't think we will. Henry was the third surviving son of King John I and his wife Philippa, sister of King Henry IV of England. He was baptized in Porto. So there you go. And Henry the Navigator, sharing the great nautical traditions of both the English heritage there and being Portuguese, of course. Though he never traveled further than West Africa, he's regarded as the father of what would be known as the Age of Discovery. Yes, you'd have to have quite big aspirations. Shall I say aspirations to be the father of the Age of Discovery? Very good. Thank you for that, Prof. Eusebio, this morning. Good morning, Gubbers. Jenni B is here today. Yay! Absolutely right. And Ron is here as well. Talking of Cascais, normally that's where you find Ron, but hola y bon dia todos from Ron in Portimao. Putting the Ron in Portimao this morning. And normally in Cascais, but how's it going down there in Portimao? Are you hooking up with any of the other chums, pals, gumpers down there, Ron, or is it none of my darn business? Okay, what's this? I missed seeing you yesterday. I hope you just took the day off. Yeah, Moaz, where were you? How is it possible to wake up with a stiff neck? I was fine when I went to bed. The blue tablets next to the bed are not, they can give you a stiff neck. If you believe them to be a throat lozenge. That's just one theory. There may be others. Could be sleeping position. A sensible answer, or a cold draft. The only cold draft he had last night was an Imperial on arrival, I suspect. That made the muscles just a bit tenser. In any way, you need to do some stretching to get rid of it quickly. What are you doing? Says Margarita. I'm just stretching. Matty told me to. Stop it. Mañana todo fin de semana sobre nos tenha lindo. So I have a beautiful one, I think, is what Owen is wishing us there. Yes, neighbor, how's it going? And Moaz is back this morning. Oh, you know, when you ask people if you slept good, well, you didn't. You obviously made a few mistakes. Well, in English, we say, did you sleep well, not did you sleep good? What is this good thing? How are you? I'm good. I mean, we all say it now, don't we? Did you? Yeah, that wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for like a true Englishman, like your Andy there, I think. But we will see. We'll see. If you want to ask him if he slept good in that American way, you're very welcome. And Moaz is here as well. Very sweet of you, LP. I was on a chat on Twitter between atheists and believers from the Middle East. Wow. Yeah, you can imagine how that ends on Twitter. I hope it ended well. I was just a listener, but it was interesting. Wow, okay. That's also a Stephen Wright joke. About if you slept good, of course, not about the atheists on Twitter. I actually don't know. Is Stephen Wright still around? Still making jokes? There's a lot of material around at the moment, isn't there? Okay, we have got a currency update, haven't we, to give you? We are going to an English afternoon tea, and of course, we'll look at all of your lovely comments and contributions. A quick one from Jim. The sun is shining here in the Rhine River Valley this morning. I think it may be trying to get us to stay. Yes, but it won't work, I tell you, German sunshine. 2 weeks from today, we arrive in Tavira. Good for you. Happy travels, and I bet the excitement is at a palpable level in the McDonald household. So all the best with that move and your preparations. Can't wait to have you listening here in Portugal. Or as Jerry would say, where will we see you? See you in Portugal, the crowd cries. And we get back to this comment now. Hippie yogurt pots, Batman. Yes, indeed. I'll take that. Oh, Julie Hart's here, MC Slug, and Carlos and Lisa are in as well. It's a good morning, everyone. Happy Friday from sunny Villanova de Gaia. Brilliant. Great location. Looking at the beauty of Porto from there, I suspect. Jenni B with us in about 10 minutes' time because I'm going to do the currency update. I wonder if she should do the currency update with me. But I'm going to go ahead and show you a graph that's been sent to me. These sorts of things, mathematics, statistics, as I'm sure you could guess, are not my strong point. Oh, but I see there, if you can just about make that out in the background, you've got pound and euro there, 120, and we're going back to some highs of what, five-year highs there, and who doesn't like a 5-year high in the morning? And euro dollar there as well. And I'm going to put those into context now. Jenny's giggling about something. But I'm going to give you a brief update now. So some graphs for you, and I've shared those with you. And to those graphically minded, those of you who like a visual of that kind, mathematically and visually inclined, I'm sure you'll have made sense of that. GBP euro is at the highest it's been in 5 years. American customers selling US dollars and buying euros, it's the best levels we've seen in 18 months. So if you're thinking of doing that, which you will be, I suspect if you're moving to Portugal from the United States, get in touch with the gang. I was hearing some great reports last night about how good, I think it was Stephen, a new name to me at Spartan, but somebody talking about how great the service from Stephen was. But we hear that from all of the gang at Spartan. Today, they say, has seen the euro tumble against its rivals as the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues. Following diplomatic talks between the two countries on Monday, analysts now, I was going to say something there, I'll stop myself. Analysts now see the possibility of a ceasefire as increasingly unlikely. The continued tensions in Ukraine are seeing money move from riskier assets such as stocks into safe havens such as US dollar and gold. This has caused the US euro rate to strengthen to the best level we've seen for 18 months, and the GBP euro rate to strengthen to the best level we've seen for 5 years. We are seeing many clients taking advantage of the positive market movement. Again, I'm not going to make a silly joke at that point, but yes, clients are taking advantage of the positive market movement. If the conflict continues, we would of course see the rate continue to strengthen. I mean, that's just horrible, isn't it? I mean, it's, obviously it's good for the individual who needs to make the most of their money because we live in a monetary system, but isn't that an awful ratio that we have created for ourselves as human beings? Anyway, however, if the fighting ends, the recent gains could be reversed very quickly. So what do you do in that moral position? What are you quietly hoping for in that? Yes, I'm asking you that, isn't it? And a pretty pass we've come to as human beings. So very quickly, resolving a few things before we relax in the vast and holistic capability of Jenni B. A fat bike is one of these. Look at the tires on that! Oh my goodness, and that had to be carried up to the 17th floor by the look of it. That's a fit person we're talking about who can cycle such a thing. I'm guessing that is suited to sandy terrain. Sandy terrain is not an American expat you met in a bar once. Sandy terrain down there in the Algarve. Oh no, I think this is Setúbal we're talking about here. And that came from Sarah Yerman, of course, to answer yesterday's question. This is a fat bike, my friends. I got some help from Sam Wells. Oh, cheers, Sam. A testament to the power of the Gumper community. So somebody, it's not always answered on the screen. Some people aren't as bold and extroverted as others, and quietly reaching out behind the scenes. We love to hear that. It's a dual-purpose vehicle, says Sarah. The practical side is to handle the cobbles in downtown Setúbal, and it'll be fun on the beach at low tide and in the hills in Arabida. Oh, yes, it certainly will. That's fantastic. Arabida, if you've not been there, please go to the National Park in Arabida. Absolutely beautiful part of Portugal. And a scene from, I think, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So not only the Bond legend attached to the Estoril Casino, but also Arabida. And that on that fat bike, you could recreate. No, don't recreate that scene. It's a bit of a grisly scene, but they used a beautiful backdrop of Arabida for that. Thank you, Sarah, for resolving that towards the end of this week. Picture in from Pam. Now, if you look closely, you will see here that cycling off the diving board is not allowed in central Portugal here. I think that's near Panela, another place you must go. Rabassal, Panela, these are great places in central Portugal, not far from Coimbra and Tomar. Absolutely lovely photo. I hope you had a great time. That is a river beach, folks. That's where you can go when the weather warms up. And actually, for the northern Europeans, they'll be in there now. They'll be stripping off and jumping in and screeching. You know what they're like. Jenny's laughing at that as well because she knows that's her. What do you mean it's too cold for a swim? Looks too hot to me. I wish it were 2 degrees lower so I could really scream when I get in that water. So there you go, lovely photo. But no, please, no cycling off the diving board at that particular river beach there. I think that just about does it. Apart from, I have a carnival time in Portugal article. I haven't got time to look at it this morning. We might do later on. But I'll put that in the comments because we've been talking all things Carnival this week, of course, because that's what's been going on since Fat Tuesday. Fat Bikes, Fat Tuesday week here. That's in there now. That's from PortugalTravelGuide.com. If you want a little bit of a guide to Carnival time in Portugal, open in a new tab. Don't shut us down doing that. And then very quickly, you'll remember Debbie, who we've spoken to here. Not the one mentioned earlier on. And of course, the lovely folks at Figs on the Fun Show. And I will share with you now an event that they are organizing together that is a fundraiser. If you're somebody who misses an English afternoon tea, if you're English or if you're American or any other nationality who thinks to themselves, "Ooh, I wonder what all the fuss is about." And there is a lot of fuss, let's face it, with an English afternoon tea. You can imagine, can't you? Excuse me, I don't think you've cut the crust off correctly on my cucumber sandwich. But I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be snooty. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A scrumptious, oh yes, it's all chitty bang bang. A scrumptious English afternoon, truly scrumptious English afternoon tea party with a Portuguese twist. Ooh, bacalhau sandwiches to help raise funds for our firefighters in the Algarve and Lower Alentejo regions of Portugal. So a good cause. And the Jubilee English Tea Party in Portugal, Figs on the Fun Show, and Associação Alerta de Incêndio Florestal, Alerta, are raising funds. Okay, that's just an association, not just, but it is an association, an award-winning and highly respected organization that obviously raises funds to help the Bombeiros down there in the Algarve and Lower Alentejo. So, where was I? Are raising funds for our firefighters by hosting an English tea party with a Portuguese twist to commemorate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So 70 years of service for Her Majesty the Queen. Listen, Frank, to celebrate the Jubilee, we are hosting a tea party in the Algarve, starting with a glass of fizz and finishing with a scrumptious afternoon tea whilst enjoying views of idyllic countryside. That sounds great, doesn't it? We will set the tea tables. And so, yes, these are the non-monarchists, the Republicans of UK will be thinking, fizz and scrumptious afternoon tea, but no, I can't go. But okay, I can. It's for the Bombeiros. We will set the tea tables under the carob trees. Oh, it gets better. The tea tables under the carob trees. Our best teapots and cups. All the best crockery is coming out for this. And you'll have a choice of teas, including Earl Grey, English breakfast, and herbal teas, such as peppermint tea and lemongrass, that is made from the leaves grown in the garden of the Figs on the Fun Show. Do you remember? We had them here, didn't we, on the show, because they were on telly. Every tea party needs scones or scones. Let's not go there, because that could get really nasty. Whichever you say, scones or scones with clotted cream. Do you know what clotted cream is? You need to go and find out. And our volunteers will be baking these traditional cakes for you to enjoy. There will be tasty finger sandwiches. Now, don't be alarmed. The finger sandwich refers to the shape of the sandwich, there are not fingers in the sandwich. It was going well, wasn't it, until I said that? And then some people went, no, finger sandwich is the shape, not the ingredient. Finger sandwiches, cakes, and savory delights, including the famous Portuguese custard tarts. I wanted to say custard tarts, pastel de nata, and other favorites. The tea party event will help raise money for I'm not going to say it again, but for the fundraisers for the Bombeiros down there that provides the firefighters with water, food, and clothing when battling wildfires in the Algarve and Lower Alentejo. So there you go, Saturday, the 28th of May, if you want to advance book for that, from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's 30 euros per person. Oh, includes an afternoon tea and a glass of fizz. Do wear your fanciest hat. Quick, grab your fanciest hat, Jenni B, and other people who can't go but have got a fancy hat nearby. So there you go. That's at Figs on the Fun Show. Lovely backdrop. Great cause. Thank you very much for organising that. I'm delighted to be able to share that with you. Okay. Let's take it off the screen because it's nearly 9 o'clock. Time to welcome Jenni B onto the screen because, of course, it's hashtag PBWM. Peace begins with me on this Feelgood Friday, and here we are now. Let's live up to our... Do you know, somebody said this morning, Jenni, what is this? Let's go back to Prof's comment. As soon as your name was mentioned, I think it was hippie yogurt pots, Batman. That's us. We'll take it. How are you? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, muito obrigada. E tu, como estás?
Muito bem, obrigado. Muito bem. E bom fim de semana.
Sim. Are we going to have a Portuguese show today?
No, because we were talking. This is the bit we got. This we just very, very capably showed you the Portuguese spectrum for foreigners when speaking Portuguese. Yeah. So the first bit was Portuguese with the EASE. Okay, and that's like it's this face. Oh, I am pretty proud of myself there. Tudo bem, bom fim de semana. And then I've suddenly realized Jenni B is asking me more things in Portuguese. And then I go into what's the next bit? Portuguese. Okay, so it goes from Portuguese to Portuguese. I'm gonna have to make something up now. I'll just say the first thing that comes to my head, like contigo, bacalhau. And then it goes from Portuguese to Portupanic, which is, I only wanted a coffee and a cake, and now look what's happened. That's the spectrum. Oh, hello. Good morning to you. Coming to
Hello,
you speak.
hippie. He's the third hippie actually in the crew today, huh? Isn't he?
Hippie. Oh, hippie. Oh,
no,
here we go. Hola, bom dia. Oh, that's brilliant. That's not fair either, is I won't keep doing that. So you're well. How is Central Portugal this morning? He's worried about you. Look.
It's really nice. We had lots of rain yesterday, which
Right.
was good. It was really missing here for the nature. I guess it was similar over at yours. It's not too far away, but yeah, that was really good. And now it's a little bit sunny. I'm really lucky because it's just shining into the window here.
Oh,
And but there will be from next week on. It says it's going to be a lot of rain, but that's good. That helps me
it
to
is.
actually do some office work because I tend to procrastinate that when the sun is out, or then I sit with the laptop outside. But yeah.
And then you think, I can't see the laptop. I'm going to put the laptop away and just sit in the sun.
Yeah,
Oh,
tempting.
it's 5 o'clock. Whoops. That didn't go well.
No, I don't know if it was the same for you, but if you come from countries like the UK and Germany, and the UK, I really learned not to procrastinate. When the sun is out, you got to go now, because in 2 minutes it could be gone.
Yes, that's right. The English need to light a barbecue and take their shirt off, and the Germans need to throw themselves in the nearest river beach, as I said earlier on, I think. Yeah.
And it's really this, you're so used to, okay, the sun is out. Oh, nice, enjoy. But we live in Portugal now, so the sun is out more often.
Yes, and what we're talking about is when it goes above 10 degrees. That's what we're talking about in Germany and UK, I think. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's just hit 11 degrees. Take your shirt off. Oh, fantastic. Okay, we got a few more hellos to say. So we had Jim McDonald's in, Moaz is in, T-Duck, Matty, Andy, Owen. They're all in this morning. And Julie Hart as well. Bon dia from Torres Vedras this morning. Thank you, Julie. And Baldilocks is here. Sunny but cold in Lisboa. Don't worry. I brought the rain with me. Yeah, I noticed that. A few of the Brits coming back are bringing this terrible weather. And look, we know this guy, don't we? Lonnie McLaughlin. Oh, yes, Lonnie. Good morning to you, Lonnie. How are you doing there? Oh, a woof woof for Lonnie there.
Even Hippie is like, I recognize this guy.
Yes, that's right. Bon dia todos. Peace is a funny definition. Russia's peacekeepers are taking a piece of the Ukraine every day. Yeah, we're not going to go with that definition of peace this morning. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make a little bit of a ground rule. All the kind of snarky and pithy and angry and even insightful and intelligent war-related comments, bring them over at 10:45 to the Bubble Off Centre podcast, and me and T-Duck will eat them for brunch. But for this morning, we're going to be going in, because where else are you going to get a live stream and a discussion about how to be peace yourself? It's all very well in it pointing fingers, and we know, don't we, Jenny? When one finger points out, or should I say, when one finger points out, there are three pointing back, and it looks horribly like a gun. And we're trying to get away from that sort of malarkey, aren't we? We say we don't want people to do that, and the next thing you know, people are saying, wanting to kill people. This is what I'm seeing. I'm friends of mine, they're already ready to kill people because it's justified. Maybe we'll take a little different approach this morning. So take that over. I'm not saying we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it on this particular slot. We'll talk about that on the Bubble Off at 10:45. Join us for that. Good morning, Carl and Jenny from the lovely Bob Yonker. Bob is a great Facebook friend to have. He just posts up funny, amusing, heart-lifting stuff. And when you look back on your life on Facebook, have you been that person, or have you been the person who just depresses everybody else? Think about it, but not for too long. Bon dia, Carl, going a message with daughter 29. So listening in the car as we drive across Belfast. So on an errand and on the dashboard, possibly there in Belfast. Good morning to you, Deagle. And your lovely daughter there. MC Slug, here we go. Another quote of the day. I think that's what AQOTD stands for. How beautiful to imagine a world in which no weapons of any kind exist because no one can imagine even harming anyone else. It's not a bad aspiration, that, is it? Not a bad aspiration at all, from the wonderful Marianne Williamson. Very quotable. And we already had one of those in real life, didn't we, for Hippie there? Tuning in, that's from Taxi, from the road, waiting for the pet store to open. The dog's got to eat, and me too. Oh, which kibble are you going for this morning, Suze? If it's getting that bad, we'll have a whip round at this end for you. You don't have to do that, you know. I hope that's just for Taxi you're talking about. Carl, in fact, I say that, but dog food, some dog food is more expensive than human food, isn't it? You know, I see in the butcher department here, Jenny, you know, meat for sale that is actually cheaper than processed dog food. And I'm thinking, I wonder what my dogs would like to eat, whether they'd like to eat some meat, you know, some offal or something for their carnivorous purposes, or some highly processed stuff that's got vitamins and minerals. And, you know, people in white coats with stethoscopes have listened to little kibbles and said, yes, you've got enough vitamin E in you and omega-3s. You are safe at the dog world now. I know people are going to say to me, yes, don't give your dog chicken offal, but it makes sense to me on occasion to do that. It's just a funny, again, it's just one of those, what's become of us? We're a funny bunch, aren't we? Carl, your pooches are so precious. They are. Thank you very much. And Anita is here in Lisbon. I pressed the like button. Thank you, Anita. Is this a friend of yours, Jenny B?
No, not that I know.
She is now.
Maybe.
She comes in here. We don't hear very often from Anita, but we like the cut of her jib, because here she is, straight in with a press the like button, everyone. Thank you, Anita, for that. And good morning to you, bon dia. I love that movie. Which movie were we talking about? Oh, Chris Smith is here. That was especially for you earlier on, Chris. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, I always have to. I've got to reading Pete Bleach's messages in my head before I read. Whenever you hear me pause, it's because I'm looking at a Pete Bleach comment, thinking to myself, can I read it out loud or not? Poor Debbie, diarising. Keep the Frango refrigerating. No, not that kind of diarising, Doug. But yes, it's good advice. Keep your Frango refrigerated, everyone. Excellent advice.
It's really life hacks you get here in this show. You can't,
yes.
You know.
Dougie, we're sort. Yeah, so much good advice. Right? Oh, hippie, that was a hippie headbutt.
Yeah, hippie wants to be a lapdog. Oh, there you go.
And what's wrong with that?
Come on, hippie, sit down. If you want to be part of the show, you got to comply.
Of course. Ground rules. Dougie, we have cleared the path for you to join us on a regular Wednesday. Second or fourth Wednesday, the good old Doc has agreed to make way, and that's going to be some political balance right there. So what do you want, Dougie? Second or fourth? What does everybody want? Second or fourth? Let us know. Relish. Where can we find relish in Portugal?
At Lidl.
Yeah, but which sort of relish? I mean, what does German relish look like?
Ah, true. Yeah, no, I was at Radish. Oh, forget it. I'm not awake yet.
You were at a radish. That would have sent Thunder off on a fool's errand, wouldn't it? She said, I can get it.
So funny.
And then there's gentleman's relish, which we put, I don't know. I mean, that's which kind? Oh, he's still grating his pickles there. That's a euphemism, isn't it? Stop it. Focus on the show. I enjoyed the replay and lovely Wiley. The properties are beautiful, but the price is way out of the reach of most people. But we believe in miracles, Moaz. Don't give up. Don't give up. You don't have to buy a 6.5 million euro property. That might not be your cup of tea and your taste. But be open to the fact that 6.5 million might flow through your life. Money is flowing. These big sums are flowing around us all the time, aren't they, Jenny B?
Yeah. And it's really, I know that for myself, it's really opening yourself up for this abundance without having to torture yourself for it.
Yeah, that's right. Because and we have these meanings, don't we? Oh, look at that 6.5 million euro house. That's not for me. That's the sort of house those people have. And those people have to sell drugs or arms to get a house like that. I'm not like that. I don't want a house for 6.5 million. Just give me a hole in the ground, and then I can be a good person without having to sell my soul for 6.5 million. Huh. And I say that because I recognize that in myself as well. I am pointing fingers both ways. there. And 6.5 million in the grand scheme of things, as we know when we hear about the amount of money some people have got in the world, which is being brought to our attention at the moment. 6.5 million isn't that much. I don't know what the figure was, but wasn't it Buckminster Fuller, somebody like that, who said, you know, if you did divide up all the money in the world, everyone would be millionaires at least. So it is all swooshing and flowing around us. MOAS continues. Properties reasonably priced and rentals too. I don't know about the others, but for me, not more than 200k, and it would be nice to add rentals. Yeah, we'll do that. And we did feature at the beginning of the show a 30,000 euro beauty of a place, which if you did have 6.5 million, you could have a lot of change from that, and you could still live in the sort of place you like. Go on, Jenny, over to you.
Can I say something on that regard? Speaking about that 6.5 million is not a lot of money. In that regard, I can tell you guys, I have a property now for the kids project, and I need 14k till the 1st of June, so I can get cracking. I got the borehole drill guy coming in next week.
Okay.
And as soon as the water is there, I can get the digger in to do a bit of landscaping. And then we're going to start setting up a few buildings and stuff like that. But we're going to start doing the walks right away with the kids, so they will be part of the process.
Yeah.
Yesterday, a friend of mine brought me trees so I can plant them with the kids. They are hand raised from him. So I'm really looking forward to all this beauty to unfold, and really learning to receive all that help from these wonderful, wonderful people here from the show as well, and everybody who is supporting it. So if I may put in the chat again the dates or the opportunities where you can contribute, you know, I'm so great. There you go. Oh my God, Carl, you are prepared.
I am all over this. Don't you worry about that. Look at this, the Rainbow Guardians. Now, okay, so some people here will be listening to this for the first time and might see it in the future, might hear it on a podcast. What is she talking about, this Rainbow Guardians thing? Briefly, if you will, because some people do know. But for those who don't, what is this Rainbow Guardians thing you speak of? The children of the...
That's nice that you asked. So for those who don't know, I've been working... my passion really is to reconnect people with nature, because I believe that this is where we can find our true purpose and our true voice. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I find it so important to do that with our children, to show them and give them the values that we have learned to develop actually later on in our life. So my passion is really to connect kids with nature, and through that to themselves. And in the short and funny way for the kids, it is that they're going to learn to become their own superheroes.
Yes.
Because the Rainbow Guardians is based on a holistic learning program for children, which conveys the chakra teachings as their own superpowers. And for that now, it's all unfolding, and I'm still a bit overwhelmed by all of that, because, you know, and that ties in with the topic that we have with the Peace Begins With Me. That's why also, I just let it flow as usual. So, you know, it's this allowing to unfold your power in the world results in such a radiance, and this just comes back like the ripple effect of love. Whatever you get, what you give, and this is a strong wave of love that I'm receiving at the moment from all of you guys, particularly, and all the wonderful people, beings, souls, spirits that seem to contribute in whichever way to this wonderful project, which is at the end of the day not an invention. You know, that's nothing new, that kids flourish and grow more sustainable in nature. But it's great that we are coming back to that, and I'm so excited and more than happy that all of it seems to come together and just go like pooh. So yeah, please help to make it possible. And for all of those who are around, you can check out your garden shed and all the building materials that you have flying around. Maybe there's some use for us here in the project. And yeah, there you go, Moat. That's really nice. 2.5 euros.
That's how it's done, isn't
Yeah,
it? That's how it's
I
done.
love
And
the
this-
calculation. And this
Yeah.
is, you know, that's also such a nice symbol for, I keep saying, for those who haven't heard it, that's bigger than me. That's far beyond human tiny existence. But it's this community spirit in it. Like, that's nothing that I do alone and I can't do alone. It's about the community. I might be the one, you know, who's the brainchild behind it, and I might be the one who brings all the strings together and encourage people like you to help and to be aware of that, and just, yeah, creating this sense of awareness for this importance for everyone to get out in nature and just take time to reconnect with oneself. And of course, as our kids are our future, it's just for me the most logical thing to approach, for them to pass it on to their children as their core values, the whole lot. So yeah, if you want to be part of that movement and that idea to, yeah, to plant this seed and flourish it even, and water it even more so it can grow, you're most welcome. I so appreciate if you consider contributing to the project. And you can scan this QR code, brings you right there. You can contribute via credit card or straight with PayPal, or just with a very basic bank transfer. There you also see the bank details for the Rainbow Guardians account. Thank you very
like
much.
I did last time, I will put it up at the end of this of the show, so that I'll leave it on the screen
Thank
for a little
you.
while. So be ready
And
to do that, folks.
And you know where it ties in with the topic that we have is what I just said first with this radiance. So
Yeah.
whatever you think and feel is also what you receive back. So what you see in the outside world is basically the filter of your soul,
Yes, quite.
or whatever the mind lays as a filter on top of that.
Yes.
And with the kids, that's also one big point, that they really learn to regulate their emotions and find the peace within them to be able to create peace around us.
Yes.
And that's what you've been saying with the peace, and that's something I'd really like to remind people on today. People who might be even eventually from a location closer to the hotspot, let's say, or people who feel fearful now, who feel terrified with the situation that is going on. And it's been tough because we had nearly 2.5 years of very intense, challenging times, and now that on top, that is, let's say, on, if you just think about the anatomics and mechanisms of a human being, it is challenging for everyone, and that's okay. You know, and I think that's the first thing to start with. Tell yourself it's okay. There is no lightness without darkness, and it all has its place. And we have all been parts of all of that in one of our lifetimes. But the important thing is to remind yourself first that you have a radiance. So whatever your intention is, this is what you radiate, and this is what you get reflected. But also to remind yourself on your circle of impact. Like, whatever you do, you can't impact whatever's going on in Russia unless you make peace with that for yourself, and you can radiate this. So it is for us all to find this peace within, to create peace in the world. You can't change the world without changing yourself. It always starts right there. And same with these worries, you know. Yeah, same with these worries, you know. Of course, it's so easy to fall into that, and what if, and what if, and what if. But honestly, if you think about all the things that you have been worrying about in your life, what of that did actually ever happen?
That changed my life, that thought. I think it's Mark Twain. And I remember I was on some business course. I think it's like the first year of the MBA, which I flunked out of. You won't be surprised to hear. But I did the first year, and I loved the personal development side of it. And I think the quote is something like, "I've known a great many troubles in my life, most of which never happened." And I was freed. I was liberated when I read that, and it opened me up to another quote, and then another quote. It really changed my life hearing that, and so thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, yeah. I think in times like this, it's particularly important to remember that,
Yes.
and also then if you think that further, just take a look inside and trying to reflect and find out how much of your actual energy is flowing into worrying about things that never actually appear or happen.
Mm.
And what if all of a sudden, if you stop this worrying, this energy is available to do something completely different with it? Like every energy has its um, poles. I don't know if that's the right word, but you have that one side and the other side. Like anger is vitality at the same time. It's just the way you use it, and reminding yourself that your emotions is also your feelings is also down to you. I mean, if you piss me off, that's still my decision if I allow you that to happen.
Yeah.
And that's so many things. And if that counts for news, that counts for any political action, that counts for anything around you that is out of your circle of impact, because at the end of the day it's just an information that comes into your circle, into your brain, and then it's about your judgment, whatever that results in your physical system, and where that goes from there. These downward spirals we're all really good in doing, in regards of now. It's like, oh, what if, and then and oh my god, and then war. you know
Yes.
that
In,
happens on a small scale, that happens on a big scale, but it's still all this worrying. And if you think about that, this energy, for example, you could use to build a little plot, a little raised bed in the garden. If you don't have a garden, put a pellet garden on the balcony, or just use that time to sit down and celebrate yourself for all the things that you've done already in your life. Anything, be grateful. Um, but yeah, remind us that it's it's you who has the power of your reaction and your feeling. I find I find really we shall all take a different look to the effect of, or the word of, responsibility, which is so often so heavy loaded and so negative. It's like, oh no, oh, go away with that. No, no excuses. If I have responsibility, then I can't find excuse. I can't blame others anymore and stuff like that. So it does not sound really appealing. But if you think about that responsibility, if you take that apart, it's our ability to respond to life. And
yeah.
who would not want to have that? Because
And
then
you have
also,
is there an option really? Because we're all, even if you don't respond, it's a response, isn't it? So
yes,
that is the heavy burden of being a human being. You can't. It
exactly.
doesn't stop, does it? You have to come back at it somehow.
And that's why, exactly what you said, it doesn't matter when you don't, it's still something's happening. So it's down to you, to decide whether you choose to actually have control over that and decide for yourself, like actively, consciously deciding, or if you just, kind of like, I'll see what happens, but I keep on blaming then because, it wasn't me. Yeah, that's because Carl did that right now. That's because I'm wearing this today.
Yes. Well, yeah, and, thank you, Jenny. And the other part of this, thank you for this different perspective, and that's what we hope for from you and your Friday residency here, first Friday of the month, of course, on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. If you can't do it for yourself as well, it's just occurred to me when you were talking. If you can't be peace, then maybe do it for your kids or other people's kids or your grandchildren or other people's grandchildren, because that's how this image occurred to me is if your kids say to you, what's up, because the kids are very perceptive, aren't they? And they look at the humans for their cues. They look, believe it or not, everybody, the children are learning from you how to be in the world. Right? Or not. They might think, ooh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the opposite of that. And then, a certain circle exists. But if you're talking of him, of being the peace and regulating your emotions, can you imagine a situation where your kids, you've encouraged them to be honest about what's going on, and they say, look, mum, dad, you seem really unhappy. I see you watching the news, and you weeping or getting angry about what you're seeing going on in the world. And you said, yeah, I'm really upset about what's going on over there in another part of the world. And for some of us here, have been for decades now. This is not the first world conflict, is it? Let's face it. And this can get to you, and you can. It's okay, like you say, Jenny, to be okay about that. I'm upset by this. And if you're, then what happens after that is interesting, I think, because it's like, okay, Dad, what are you going to do? Well, I think we should kill the guy. Oh, really, Dad? That stuff you were saying last week about how I should be a bit more compassionate and understanding towards my sister when she gets on my nerves. Should I do that as well? No, not there. With your sister, you've got to be peace, okay? I demand peace in this house. But for other people, we want to kill those people. So it's not easy, is it? It's not easy. But we are teaching the kids in how we're being about all of this is what we're teaching kids to be, I think, as well. And I'm not saying these are all the right answers and this is what you should do. But it's not a bad idea to approach it from that point of view, is it? What is our behavior teaching ourselves? And what is it teaching our community? What is it teaching our children? And what effect will this behavior that I'm meditating on right now of assassinating or whatever, doing these sorts of things to people, how's that going to look in 7 generations' time? Let alone, how's it going to look in 7 days' time? So that's where we're at this morning, I think, is pondering that. And I don't think you get that in many places.
And once you were saying that, I just thought words, thoughts, they're so powerful, and a tiny thing that each and every one of us can do, really simple, is just think about, like, we've all had these kind of quotes that we've all been listening to when we were kids, like, as long as you put your feet under my table, you're never gonna make it, or whatever, all these things. But think about what of these is still kind of like an automatic reactive response in your head. And Douglas, you're welcome to join me here.
every first Friday, Dougie.
Yeah. And also, really checking in how often you say these things, because they just come out automatically and your kids get them as well. So if it's things like, no pain, no gain, life is hard, I saw it coming, or whatever, all these things, this is basically, how it goes when you walk a path, when you walk it twice, okay, but if you walk it 2 million times, it becomes a real track. And that's what happens in the brain as well. The more often you practice something, or the more often you teach yourself something, the more you believe it. So that's why so many of us do believe we're not good enough and we're a piece of whatever, because that was our assumption of not responded behavioral needs. But anyway, long story short, if we take a bit of awareness for our inner dialogue, and also what is like the family quotes that we have at home, and how could we maybe turn them around into something more positive, like, you can do anything you want, just believe in it, things like that is so powerful on a daily basis, just as powerful as the others are on a daily basis, with the difference that we don't notice it anymore, because we all have this kind of like downing, negative,
it's gravity, isn't it? It's the gravity of the mind. I think the mind is we do celebrate the mind, and quite rightly in a way, but its tendency, I think, is downward, isn't it? If you keep thinking tends to go downward, funnily enough. And I know you can extract inspirational thinking and inspirational people and the great achievements that have come from thinking and problem solving. But if you leave most human beings in a room on their own thinking, it doesn't go very well, does it?
No, but that's like it's so normal for us, really, just to think all the time, and then you're stuck in your mind. But then you try to find a solution from that stuck mind,
Yeah.
That's like being locked in a door with the key outside, but trying to open it somehow from the inside.
Indeed.
That's but it's really interesting, I find, because if you think about the history of us as humankind and indigenous cultures and all that, usually always used to have six senses, but at some point, and they were all equally valued. But at
Yes.
some point, we decided, no, it's the thinking. The thinking is the
Thinking
sense where we
is the
rely
prime.
most on,
Yes.
and it's about really connecting them and making your brain an valuable ally for your heart and your gut, because at the end of the day, the big difference is your mind is trained for you to survive, so it needs to categorize, it needs to do the pointing fingers, it needs to do all that. But with that, to quieten the mind a little bit, for me, for example, and I have a very strong mind,
Really?
and I've been yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to mention it here for those who haven't noticed it so far. But for so many years, also, I've confused that so much, like my inner voice, that I thought it is my mind,
Yeah.
but of
Yes.
course it's not. It tells you all these great things, and they make sense absolutely, because you can run on that. You've learned to run on that. But where my mind really takes this bit of like a step back is when I say, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't need to understand it. And then you can feel it does this. Oh, damn it.
That's like getting a redundancy note, isn't it? For the mind. The mind is sacked. You're fired. Mind. No, you can't do this to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Get your cardboard box and go.
And just the other day I sat there. It was also in formulating something for the project, which is really I really need to be careful, because it's so tempting to just consume me completely. And then I just spoke about it with Lonnie, and then you sit there and for 3 days you think like, have I eaten something? But I need to do that. And
Yeah, Lonnie.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Jenni B here, everybody from Hurley Healthy. Any comments, questions, suggestions you can see on the screen there. We need to catch up a bit with what's going on, because
Let's check with our people here.
people are still grating pickles out there. And do you relish? Okay, we're going to find out where to get relish now, everybody. So, yeah, we were talking about calming the mind and finding relish here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream this morning. A Corte Inglés supermarket, surprised by this selection of American goodies there. Thank you, Carlos, for that. Pips is here. Bon dia, Gria Gumpus. Thank Crunchy, it's Friday, so a bit of a tough one for you. It's okay. We are unwinding the mind here this morning. Good morning from Gemini as well. Gemini, hello. And Antonio F is in too. Good morning, Antonio. Doesn't matter. Oh, these are about the properties. We will do. Don't worry. We'll have something for every budget. No problem. And we'll take delight at every level of budget as well. Hola, bom dia todos. So aqui bocadinho. Vou almoçar na praia com minha filha e minha friends and son, having a bit of breakfast, having a bit of a mouthful in it, a bocadinho, by the, where are you? By on the beach. Fantastic. Have a great day, Rebel Mama and gang there. And, okay, I'm just going to read this without reading it first. Oh, very funny. That's one for 10:45, Pete. Definitely. Bon dia. Feliz sexta-feira from Sarah as well, who explains a little bit more about the fat bike as we go down the comments, and many there are. They are plentiful, and we love abundance here, and we certainly got an abundance of comments and chat. Carla Gomes Algarve, good morning from Alvera Algarve. Good morning to you, Carla. Great to have you here. Are you here, Carla? And are some of the new people here because of the piece in the Portugal News? Dougie sent me a picture this morning. I see my own face in the Portugal News this morning. So the story of the Munsons coming to Portugal in the Portugal News, maybe that's what Carla saw. So anyone who's tuned in on that basis, you're very welcome. Do join us. Stick with us. How are you? Here we go. This is how it goes, isn't it, Jenny? How are you? I'm good. Okay. So how are you? Yeah. This is what goes on, isn't it? These little things that come out that are unchecked. And MC Slug coming in with a little bit of an intervention there. Thank you for that, James. Staying with a friend on a sailboat in Portimao Marina and doing some exploring. That sounds lovely. Very windy here. in the last days. More unrefrigerated Frango, possibly. Bem-vindo a Portugal. I'm in Praia Russia. Want to grab there you go. Want to grab a coffee or a glass of wine? Now you're talking. Fantastic, Victoria there. We're having so many wonderful networks building of people who want to grab a coffee or a glass of wine. Central, Algarve, Lisboa in the north. It's superb. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. We can give people a lovely welcome when they come, when they're exploring. We can show them wonderful things. And it's a lovely network when you move here as well, for the longer term as well. Another quote of the day: what you are comes to you. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Yeah, and I suppose what we're saying is, and what you make of it, right? Or is that what comes to you in the mind and the heart as well? That's a rich quote there. Thank you very much for that, James. Oh, good news. Finally, the contract for me working remotely for my former Dutch employer has been signed by the CEO. That sounds like an important person, doesn't it? Yes, sign it off. Let Matty go to Portugal. Next week, we will talk about details and I will start working again. Nice one. We've got loads of patients, clients. Yeah, we got loads of clients, I think, lining up to talk to. You can come and hold my knee, Matty. That's what I hear. What?
Go on.
That's what I hear. A guy who walked into the cafe the other afternoon and said, that was it, right? Yeah. That was it. That was it. That's all you need to say, probably, because they know what you want. It goes onto the counter and you say, da. Also, there is a Tuesday evening meetup at the Moonlight, 5 to 7. Victoria, thank you so much for this random question. Not like you. Anyone know if there is a Euro symbol on an American Mac keyboard? If so, where is it, please? We're helping everybody on all kinds of levels this morning. Okay.
You can ask the Mac. It has a button where you can talk to it, and then it tells you.
Seriously. Wow, the cult of Mac. Jazz Funk, Faja do Dia, Fat Larry's band, Zoom. Yes, great track along with the other famous bassline track, Act Like You Know. Two corkers there. Maybe it's time to hook up with Coach Turner. Playlist, yes, indeed. Oh, many atheists and agnostics, and especially among the youth, especially so many of them have been influenced by the West. Oh, yes, more debate there on Twitter, I think. So scrolling through. Actually, we just moved into this place for the elevator. Oh, that's the fat bike that we showed you earlier on. So, yeah, you don't have to carry that up the stairs, which is a bit of a relief. Your Richie fat bike. It carries bikes. At this point, we have 4 people and 6 bikes and counting. Wow. They love their bikes. And Sarah, very happy, I think, to help other people interested in cycling in Portugal. We recorded a great program with you, Sarah, didn't we? Market movement. Is that a euphemism for the market? No, stop it. Honestly. Capricorn, as keeper of the likes, Capricorn 12. Yes, shouted at the top of his voice. Andy said, a man cave malarkey has begun. All the capitals you'll see there. Look, beware of the newcomers, everybody. Don't frighten them with all your shouting in there. From Pips, my old headmaster in Lincolnshire was friends with the owner of the car used as chitty chitty bang bang. Excellent. That's just going back in our conversation. We've got some catching up to do here, Jenny. That tea party is more expensive than a 3-course meal with a fantastic beer. Oh, stop it, Pete. You can do both, man. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be either or, does it? Finger sandwiches are just one of many finger foods. Is he being mucky there? I wonder. I don't know what's going on. A lot of these now. This is what happens when the man cavers get in. They bring in they take the vibes to a different place. I was going to say down. I won't judge them quite like that. But yes, it's a bit man cavey in here. I can smell testosterone and yanginess this morning. Bon dia, gumpy friends. It's raining cats and dogs here in Lincolnshire. Very fitting after last. Yes. Oh, what was the phrase? Chauve en ponche, I think that is the Portuguese for cats and dogs. Peace to everyone today. Thank you, St. Catherine. I thought you were making a sensible, but it's another pithy Peter comment there, and includes I don't know what that even means, and I'm not going to read it out in case you're just making me see. Pete's a teacher, and I think he's had every prank possible played on him by school kids. And he's projecting that onto me now at the front of the class, so to speak, and getting me to read out things. They're probably putting bets on it in the man cave as well, the rascals. Mark Cockerton, bon dia, Jenny and Carl this morning. Hey, Mark, lovely to have you here this morning. Cindy B also, bon dia alegria from a sunny The Nads are sunny this morning. That's fantastic. Bob Yonker, bon dia, Carl, and Jenny from Karen and me. Hey, Bob and Karen. Yeah, so that's been recognised. Panic, lol. That's my husband's main mode. He studies more than me, but he's terrified to say anything, lol. I'm the opposite. I try and fail constantly. Okay, ciao, povos. Play nice. He bomb fin semana. Very good. Nice one there. Play nice. Grenade lobbed in as she goes off to enjoy herself on the beach. Good morning from sunny Porto, from Josh and Kaylee. Good morning to you too. That's brilliant. Rain is not terrible. Did I say that? I apologize if I did. It's a blessing. It's so good to see you, Jenny.
And
yes.
Michelle, thank you so much. I think it was this morning where I've received a generous donation from Michelle as well. So thank you so much. I meant to send you an email. So there you go. There's your personal thank you kiss.
All right. Stop boasting, Andy. He says he's blessed a lot, or he's thought of being well blessed in the in UK. Pete Bleach, not a fan of the Lincolnshire sausage. Is this to go with the relish comments? Prefer a caramelized onion one. It's random, but we come to expect that, haven't we? Come on. Sometimes it's blessing it down there in the UK. Oh, MC Slug, we're going all over the place. I love it. This is truly holistic, isn't it? Let's be fair. Remember, Gandhi said, if we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. Indeed. And as a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of what world changed towards him, of the world changed towards him. We do not wait to see what others do. Indeed. And we're encouraging you to try things, to do things this morning that might add to the peace in the world. It's not going to happen by itself, I don't suppose. Going back to those messages from the home, that room is not going to tidy itself. A bit like world peace. It ain't going to happen unless it's us that are driving it. I suppose it's not driving it even. It's allowing, isn't it? Peace is allowed, not driven. We lazy paraphrasers just say, Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you, James, for clarifying that. And bon dia from Vinny in the New Zealand there. How's it going over there with your premiere? Is she relaxed at all? She could do with a bit of peace, I think. Day 4-5 of COVID, man flu 101, taking Vit C, D, zinc, lots of fluids and rest. Any other tips that have assisted? Excellent. Yes, community. What else has helped you with your man flu 101? My Westie loves fish. Yes. And again, you can get fish, very good value fish in Portugal, and possibly an alternative. But I mean, some of these pooches have got very sensitive digestive systems, but maybe we've bred and trained them that way. It's all about training with animals, isn't it? Alpha had tuna for breakfast this morning. I think she's spoiled. Yes, indeed. I would agree. We'll have an Alpha picture. Raj, bon dia. I've heard posh people call tuna pet food, actually. That's the circles I roll in. The sort of people who say fuchsia instead of fuchsia, I also noticed. Bon dia a todos from Raj. And Pete, yes, you are on a 5-second Munson mental delay. Serious question now from T-Duck. Does your frango shrivel in? Actually tends to shrivel on the searing coals of the barbecue. That's what goes on with the frango. And now you've made me hungry for frango. Aloha, bon dia from Kalarish. Carl and Jenni B, fellow hippies and peaceniks that let love and light shine. Oh, Uncle Krusty. How you doing there? Great to hear from you. Looking forward to meeting you here in Portugal. Go on. Yes, you're going to be up. Oh, you've muted yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, Hippie was barking. I think, hi, Uncle Krusty. I think it's the first time he's actually able to watch it in the Portuguese time because he's here now, isn't he?
Oh, excellent. Looking forward to meeting up soon. Let's make sure that happens. And look at that. He's come ready with a strimmer, ready to work and action.
Ready, yeah. He knows if you bring something to Portugal, it's a strimmer.
It's a strimmer. Okay. 6.5. Prison. What's that? I can already imagine what I'd do with that cash. Yes, do imagine. That's a good exercise, isn't it, Jenny? Instead of like what we're talking about here this morning is like, okay, everybody, here's 6.5 million. What's your first thought? And that'll be very indicative and educational, won't it? What is your first thought? And then why not practice thinking about what you're going to do with 6.5 million? What would you do, Jenny? What's your first thought?
Oh my God, I can tell you right away. So Rainbow Guardians camp would be set. I'll have a massive 8x8 MAN Explorer truck, and I'll travel the world sharing that superhero classes all over the world. That would be
Really?
Yeah.
Done. Okay. And you'd have change. There's more work to do there. There's more work to do with this. So do I hear there that you're going to be setting up Rainbow Guardian camps all over the world then? That just popped out there, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, my big vision is to, and that's like we're talking about the 50-year goal. You don't know what can happen earlier, but you never know. So even though I don't like to make plans, this is really what I feel as my calling, what I came here to do, is teaching kids that they are their superheroes. And another contribution. Thank you so much, guys.
On a telethon here. That's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Go on. Like the one guy said, 150 each, and we got this. So
it's going to take a long time to think about how to spend 6.5 million, but try it, folks. Seriously, Mrs. N does it. I mean, I'm saying you should do it. I've seen the results, not for myself. I've toyed with it. But my first thoughts, I'll be honest with you, my first thoughts are that's never going to happen. That's my first thought. And I'm in the process of training myself out of that. And it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah,
No,
I tell you, I've so been in that. I mean, the whole story of me asking somebody else for money to do a project, and the whole that was like, no.
You're a different woman now, though. You're a different woman. There's money coming in while you're on the screen. That's amazing. All right. So on this matter, whether we have Dougie on the second or the fourth, let's have a vote. Very democratic. Maybe we can have a Doc handover show. We should. On the one that you inherit, we'll have you both on, and let's see what happens. Love to share the screen with Uncle Andrew, a true gentleman. That's lovely. And lots of greetings for you because we're a bit behind. So Carlos and OLP, happy to see you here. And again, this is one of the first thoughts. If everyone was a millionaire, that house would be 6.5 billion. So we see what's going on in Andy's mind there. He has a certain view of human nature and economics. And it's all made up, Andy. I've got to tell you, we got this far because of our collective thought forms. It's not written out anywhere. There's no blueprint that says it should be like that. And I understand why you say it's going to be like that, but we make it up as we go along, and that's what we've made up so far. And it's not working very well, is it, folks? Dougie! Bon dia, Uncle Krusty. Jenni B, wow, where did you find the property for 40? Well, there's another angle on it as well. That was Boaz's first thought, possibly.
I read that earlier, and I really wanted to say something to that because there were more comments around that and where it's cheap and the whole lot. But the thing is, and I got to tell you this, guys, it's really about radiance again and what you're sending out and what you're believing. But when I came here 2.5 years ago, I knew I'm going to have a property for this camp and it will be under 20K and I will set up this camp there. And with my intention, then sharing that was the most challenging bit. As long as you just do that in your own notebook, in your own heart, that's fine. But then getting out with that. But then receiving this massive payback in the shape of love and all that comes with it, that's just so powerful. But that only happens when you allow yourself this possibility. And it doesn't necessarily need to work, but you can look at it as a game. Be that childish little bit and just start with a little thing and go like, maybe I really wanted to have a bike with these fat tires.
For example, or some
I
relish.
start manifesting, and it's little things. It's like, for example, the 6 million house. It's like, oh my God, I'll never be able to afford that. How many years do I need to work for that? Take the opportunity out that you need to buy that you need to fund it from your own efforts. Maybe somebody just gives it to you.
Well, I don't suppose, it's not like some people are born with that in a sense, but something has to happen. This money moves around, doesn't it? It's not attached to you. It's not part of your body or anything, is it? It came from somewhere, so it could come from somewhere again. I mean, this is how these energies work, isn't it? But we've got a certain way of seeing it, which is quite exclusive and fearful, etc., etc. And whilst my first thought is automatic and almost a reflex, you tap my knee and my foot flies in the air. You talk about 6.5 million, and my first thought is that's not going to happen. But I don't stop there. I see that I'm thinking that, and I haven't given up on myself. And that's the thing in it. Don't give up on yourself. Please, nobody give up on yourself here, because you're awesome, powerful, and you can be the change, and you can have an effect without assassinating people or whatever it is people want to do. Taxi, I imagine Taxi, in Taxi's mind is like, oh, we're going to the pet shop to buy some of that dried food. Yeah, it's shut. She's bought me liver. Oh, fantastic. Dogs don't like dried food, do they? Jenni B. Okay, so the €1.5 idea is fantastic. I mean, we could be doing that every day of the week to enable each other, couldn't we?
Please
do you know what my first thought there is? Pyramid scheme. This is how we're indoctrinated, isn't it? We indoctrinate ourselves. I learned that a group of zebras are called a dazzle. We dazzle. The riot of gumpers are a dazzle. We're dazzling, and we come in many stripes. I like riot too. A dazzle of gumpers. Yeah, open door here. We're a dazzle. We're dazzling right now.
You need food.
Yeah. small house in the middle of the countryside, probably. Yeah, of course. 30K, Castella Branco, beautiful place. Jenni B, tell us more about the Rainbow Goddess. So I think we did that. Is it occasional sessions or weekly hours? And is it in Santarém? So it's over towards Tamar area, isn't it? I mean, nearest biggest town, possibly?
Alveadra is the nearest biggest town. So we are in Arraias, Ferreira do Zézere. Okay. But it will be, so I'm planning to do every first and third Sunday in the month, I'm planning to do like wildlife exploring walks where we do nature activities, definitely fun. That's the most important thing, but creating an awareness for nature and themselves. Really the three core values of the entire Rainbow Guardians is besides the sustainability, empathy, and mindfulness. But for the kids, it's the intuition, gratitude, and environmental consciousness. So there will be these workshops, there's the Sunday walks, then there will be, I'm planning to have another workshop throughout the week, only one in a month, because it's after school activities is difficult because the school is so long here in Portugal, and it's a lot of activities. So you don't want to overload the kids. They shall still enjoy it, and it shall be a calming time. But generally I'm planning to have a class here from about 8 children, 4+ years old, between 4 and 12, to come 2 days a week as the Earth Education Center. You could call it forest school, you could call it whatever, but it's not going to be an official school. I like to mention that here. And that is purposely the case because we're not teaching any fixed curriculum. We're not heading to have an institutional recognized academic degree here. None of that. That's life skills, that's purity, that's really something that is not going to be accredited of any institutional educative place, but even better so, because this stuff you learn anyway, and it's not real much use.
Where am I supposed to get my doctorate in intuition? I was hoping to get that. Oh, okay, I can come to you for that, but I'm not going to get a hat or anything like that, or a piece of paper.
I can write you a piece of paper. We can collect you a rock or something, or a little shell if you want, and we can write it on that. But at the end of the day, it's a badge of your heart.
Oh, I just felt my heart swell a little bit then. That's what happens here on Feelgood Friday when Jenni B said, can you believe it's 6 minutes to 10? And we do need to finish promptly today. So we'll rattle through these because I think we have had some lovely input. That is togetherness, Moaz. Absolutely, Michelle. And you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore for you before you decide to be happy. Oh, my word.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's profound, isn't it?
I'm in the middle of it.
Don't wait, folks. Seriously, you don't want to be. You don't want that when you're 90, do you? Oh no! With all respect to any 90-year-olds listening, as Garvo says, all the best movements are in the morning. Absolutely, and I'm feeling a big movement coming on here. Sorry, Jenny. Imagine world, please. You know, when you're in Portugal, there's a fresh pastel with a dusting of cinnamon brought to you. Oh, that's what he's had this morning. Isn't that lovely? Welcome back, mate. You're making me jealous right now. Enjoy your passion. Yes, enjoy it, Andy. Yeah, with your magical dusting. As we maintain a higher ups vibration, a higher state of consciousness, the 3D reality changes for good. And it has done. I mean, isn't that observable in this last little while? I suppose it depends on who's writing the history. It's, in my experience, I'd say that's true. That's true. Jenny is really inspirational. Yeah, every first Friday. I agree with you, Carl. As long as I have a roof over my head, don't care what others have, I think is what Gemini is saying there. Yeah, let people be, for heaven's sakes. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. Mark Twain, very popular. And Jess, thank you for that this morning. Great to have you here. And it hurts when I do this. Doc, it hurts when I do this. Doc, stop doing that. Joke is profound when applied to thoughts. Psyche. It's true. Very good. Funny because it's true.
Yeah.
More of that, 10:45 as well. I say no pain, no pain. Oh my goodness, this is going back, isn't it? Worrying, says Jess, is like paying a debt you don't owe. It's so true, isn't it? If we just wanted to be happy, this would not be difficult. Yeah. We can create the distinction, the destination by choosing our thoughts. I love this community. And yes, to cover it. We're not becoming space cadets. Ungrounded. Look, we're being grounded back to the GBP euro rate as they're at 121.2. What's with all this grabbing? Let's get to drink. I don't know what he's talking about there. And Carlos, hi Jenny. Can't wait to meet up. You rock. Look at that. And look, there's the answer to that as well for your euro sign. I think it's because he wants to send you some money, maybe. Blooming Egg, Victoria Benson, wine, bit early for me. Go for the coffee, otherwise you'll end up rising with Debbie. Oh dear. And lots of, I think the answer's been, the question has been answered about the euro key on the Mac. That's fantastic. You're a sweetie. Isn't that lovely? No bets, Carl. We are playful, being joyous on this fine day. I think come back to me about you man cavers, you rascals. You're always welcome me, you know that. Josh and Kaylee were on the Pedants trip with us, Carl. I'm so glad to hear that. How lovely. Another lovely connection there. Good morning, everyone. The weekend is just arriving. Yay! Nunu just in time with a bon fin semana for us. Canned tuna is pet food. Okay. He's posh. Only posh people say that, Andy. Michelle, are you actually an artificial intelligence interacting with these comments? No, she is pure natural intelligence. What's that? Sorry, keep brain disconnection. But she did say that 3 times. 4 times. You're a sweetie. You're a sweetie. You're a sweetie. We'll take it. It's absolutely fine.
See, it's 2 for you, 2 for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. It is indeed. Why not all over the world? Yes. Whatever that was. Why not? Yes.
It's Rainbow Guardians all over the world.
Yes, indeed. Okay, let's go with that. Oh my goodness, we got some serious catching up. Sorry, we're not going to get to everybody this morning, but look, OLP, how can I send a donation from the US? I remember buying your wonderful journal was not easy and cost us both more than we thought. What's the way to do that? Is that on an IBAN number, isn't it? So we've got the IBAN. I think that's the way.
The IBAN, or I mean, PayPal is also an American company, isn't it? So if you go to the PayPal Me Rainbow Guardians or scan the QR. I don't know if it's possible now with the comment in it, but generally there you have the opportunity to either pay with PayPal or with a credit card. So it should work from any country all over the world. And thank you for considering contributing.
I'll put it on the end of the show. The QR code will be up there. What I love about kids in Portugal is most of them are outside and usually on precarious mountain boulder top with no safety. All the kids we know have acres of land to play in. Isn't that lovely? And that's the sort of backdrop you're talking about. David Durham! Yes, welcome. Bem-vindo Portugal as well to you. And hi, Jenny B. Good vibes to you from Nuno. We'll talk to Nuno next week about the D7 insurance program that he's developed, which is great news. There is the QR code. Yeah. Okay. So I'll leave that on the end of the screen. Last thought to you then. What do you want to send people off with the peace begins with me this morning, Jenny?
Yeah, peace begins with me. I'd really like to remind yourselves, and I've said it before, to just when you catch yourself worrying, just think about it again. If that is really true, what you're thinking, like if you can be 100% sure that this worry is true, and if not, allow yourself to let go of that and just keep an eye on really how much energy flows out in your life, in your daily life, for worrying or negativity and things like that. And then maybe just have a think about what other things you'd rather like to invest that energy in. So what is it that you'd actually like to draw more in your life? And the
Yeah.
next time we can speak about what you can do to actually draw it in. But first, check where your energy is going. It's
Check
important to know
yourself
that.
before you wreck yourself. Yes,
Check
definitely.
yourself before you wreck yourself, exactly. And and also really the energy goes where the attention flows, so, or the energy flows where the attention goes. So make sure, particularly in times like now and the last 2 years, or generally things like mainstream news where you get the hammer all the
Yes.
time with things, and it does have an impact. So really make sure that you ingest just the most beautiful, delicious delights, and that counts on a mental level, on a physical level, on any level. So be good to yourself.
Oh, lovely thought to end on. Bless you, Jenny B. You are a blessing to us, and you'll be here again on the first. It's March already, isn't it? So you'll be here on the first Friday of April, which I
Yes.
think is the 1st of April.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for today, and it's so good to hear such good news about the Rainbow Guardians. And we'll see you soon with our kids. We're going to come over and have a lovely weekend workshopy thing with you as well. So see you then. Ciao, ciao. Thanks everybody. Bye for now. You've been very, very good. Peace begins with us. Remember.